Hey guys, this is our last video before your test on Friday. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Don't just sit at home not knowing what's going on. I know it's really hard to learn from home, but you guys are doing great. Don't put yourself down. So we are going to start with some more applications of linear systems. We're doing some more word problems. Now, the thing is with today, these are difficult. I'm not even going to be like easy on you. These are difficult, but follow along. I came up with a table that should really help us, especially for the later problems, and I know you guys can do this. So make sure you do each step like I do it. So first of all, finding a break-even point. So read the problem, underline or highlight the question, define the variables, they are found in the question, reread the problem and write the equations, one cost, one profit, and then set the equations equal to each other and solve. So first, let's read the problem. A fashion designer makes and sells hats. The material for each hat, when you see that word each, think slope, costs $5.50. The hats sell for $12.50 each. Again, that's going to be a different slope. The designer spends $1,400 on advertising. That's like a base fee, so that's going to be a y-intercept. How many hats must the designer sell to break even? So I need to know how many hats, and we'll determine if we have a variable for that. So first we're going to have x and y. X is going to be the number of hats because it's each hat, the hat sell. So x is going to be cost per hat is your slope. So x is the hat, and y is going to be the money, either cost or profit. What the maker spends or what they make off the hats. All right, and I need to know how many hats, so that's what I'm trying to find is x equals question mark. Let's write our equation. So our cost equation first is y equals, and then it costs $5.50, that's your slope, x, and then they spend an extra $400 on advertising, that's your y-intercept here. And then your profit one. Y equals, they make $12.50 each. You don't make anything else on top of that, just the $12.50. So we're going to set these equal to each other. It's like a substitution. We're going to do 5.50x plus 1,400 equals 12.50x. We're going to subtract 5.50x on both sides. We'll get 1,400 equals 7x, divide by 7, and x equals 200. Did we solve for what we were looking for? Yes, we did. It's 200 hats. Now let's double check this by putting into Desmos and making sure our x is 200. So we're going into Desmos, and we are going to do y equals 5.50x plus 1,400. And then we have y equals 12.50x. Now you don't have to put those zeros at the end right before the x because 5.5 is the same as 5.50. It's up to you. And where they intersect, that's where they break even, and our x is 200, so we ended up all good. All right, we're going to do the next one. I would really like you guys to try this yourselves. Try it first, but if you need some help, you can always follow along. A puzzle expert wrote a new Sudoku puzzle book. I love Sudokus. I don't know about you guys. His initial costs, remember, is your y-intercept, are $864, and that's your cost. Binding and packaging each book cost 80 cents per book, so that's going to be your slope. Each, you see that word each again. The price of the book, or price of each book, is $2. That's your other slope. How many copies must be sold to break even? So x is going to be the number of books, and y is going to be either the cost or the profit. Just depends on which one we're doing. And I'm trying to look for x, so I need to know how many copies need to be sold. So my cost equation is y equals cost 0.80 x plus initial cost of $864. My profit one, this puzzle expert makes $2 for each book, so 2x. We're going to set these equal to each other. If you want to practice just solving this, pause it now. You can pause at any point. We're going to subtract 0.80x on both sides, and we get 864 equals 1.20x. I'm going to put this into Desmos because I cannot do this off the top of my head. Maybe you guys can. I don't know if you can do 864 divided by 1.2 in your head. I cannot. And I'm going to get x equal to 720. And it's 720 books. Now, we can double check this in Desmos. My x needs to be 720 books, and I solved for what I was looking for. So I get y equals 0.80x plus 864. And then I get y equals 2x. And if we look right here, my x should be 720, and it is. We did this correctly. That second number in there, the 1440, that is the cost to make 720 books, but it's also the profit of making 720 books, meaning you break even at that point. Any books less than that would cost more to make than you would lose money. Any books sold more than that, you make money. Okay. So I kind of rushed through this too because I think you're more than capable of doing it, and I know how difficult these mixture problems are. So I really wanted to give you a chance to look over these and try these. So first we're going to read the problem. We're going to underline or highlight the question, define one variable, so only one variable based on the percentage of which is being asked. We're going to set up a table like the one to the right. So you're going to have a table like this on all of these, and then we're going to solve for x. So John is making punch. How many cups of 50% juice should he add to a drink that contains 10% juice if he wants to make 15 cups of punch containing 20% juice? How many cups of each drink? I look at this and I know it sounds confusing. That's why we're going to break it down into a table. So let x equal, I always just do the first one. How many cups of 50% juice? So it's cups of 50% juice. It's the first one we come to. It's just easier if you do it that way. So the first mixture is 50% juice. Remember, 50% is the same as saying 0.5. We want to make sure we're clear on that. And how much, that amount is unknown. It is x. The other amount I'm doing is 10% juice, and that's 0.1. We're going to leave this amount clear right now, and I'll show you why in just a second. Let's get to the totals. So I need a total of 20% juice, and I need 15 cups of that. And this is where we're going to fill in this one. This one is going to be whatever this total is, 15 minus this x right here. Because x plus this equals 15, which means 15 minus x will equal this. We can substitute it in. So now that I have this, we are going to multiply the percent times the amount and add it to the second percent times the amount, and that's going to equal the total times the amount. So it kind of takes out the middleman of creating two different equations. We're just going to create one equation here. So we have 0.5x plus 0.1 times 15 minus x equals 0.2 times 15. Now I'm going to show you, this should be 3. I'm going to double check it in Desmos. So let's do 0.2 times 15, and I get 3. So coming back over here, 0.2 times 15 equals 3. So now we're going to solve this. We're going to do 0.1 times 15 is 1.5, and we have 0.5x to begin with. And then 0.1 times negative x is negative 0.1x, and that's equal to 3. We're going to combine like terms, and we get 0.4x plus 1.5 is equal to 3. Subtract 1.5 on both sides, and we get 4x is equal to 1.5. To get x by itself, we're going to, 0.4x. To get x by itself, we're going to divide by 0.4. I'm going to go back over to Desmos to do that. And we do 1.5 divided by 0.4. And we get 3.75. So x is equal to 3.75. Now I need to know how many cups of each. So if this right here is 3.75, to find this one right here, we would do 15 minus 3.75. And if I'm going to do that into Desmos, that's going to give me 11.25. And you can just kind of write it on the side here, because that's going to give you a total of 15. 3.75 plus 11.25 gives you 15. But you can write it on the side here of the table so that you know which one is which. So I need 3.75 cups of 50% mixture and 11.25 cups of 10% mixture to make 15 cups with 20% juice. Trust me, we have more to practice. Don't worry. Let's see. You combine a 10% salt water mixture with a 40% salt water mixture to create 6 gallons of a 30% salt water solution. How many gallons of each mixture did you use? So X, again, I'm just going to do the first one, which is 10% salt water mix. So the first one is 10%. I'm just going to put 0.1 here because we know 10% is 0.1, and that's my X. My mixture B is 0.4. We're not sure of the amount yet. And I need a total of 0.3 and 6 gallons, which means right here is 6 minus X. The total here minus X. So we're going to multiply across 0.1 times X plus 0.4 times 6 minus X equals 0.3 times 6. 0.3 times 6 is 1.8. We are going to distribute. And I get 0.1x plus 2.4 minus 0.4x equals 1.8. We're going to combine like terms. Negative 0.3x plus 2.4 is equal to 1.8. Subtract 2.4 on both sides, and we get negative 0.3x is equal to negative 0.6. Divide by negative 0.3. Divide by negative 0.3. And I get x is equal to 2. So we're going to put a 2 in here. X is equal to 2. Now 6 minus 2 is 4. So I get 2 gallons of the 10% salt water mixture and 4 gallons of the 40% salt water mixture to make 6 gallons of the 30% salt water mixture. All right. If at this point you feel like you know what you're doing, please try these problems yourself and then check your answers as I go along. So pause the video, try it, and then check your answer. If you're still struggling, follow along with me. That's perfectly fine. Margaret is making fruit punch. She has a juice drink that contains 25% orange juice. How much pure orange juice will she need to combine with the drink to make 17 quarts of a drink that is 60% orange juice? So X is going to be the 25% one, 25% orange juice. So 0.25, and that's X. And then the other one is pure orange juice. So that's 100% or 1. We're not sure about the amount yet. And I need 17 quarts of 0.6 or 60%, which means this right here is 17 minus X. We're going to do 0.25X plus 1 times 17 minus X equals 0.6 times 17. I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head. So let's put it in. 0.6 times 17. I get 10.2. Let's start solving. 0.25x plus 17 minus x, because 1 times 17 is 17. 1 times negative x is negative x, equals 10.2. Combine like terms, I get negative 0.75x. And I did that because 0.25 minus 1 is negative 0.75. Use your calculator if you need help. That's perfectly fine. Plus 17 is equal to 10.2. Subtract 17. And I get negative 0.75x is equal to negative 6.8. Divide by negative 0.75. I cannot do that in my head. At least not quickly enough. So negative 6.8 divided by negative 0.75. And we get roughly, we're going to say 9.1. Because this is going to give us a repeating 3/4. Sorry, I'm just making sure. It is going to give us a repeating decimal, so we're going to use 9.1. And rounding to the nearest tenth right now is totally fine. So we're going to say x is equal to 9.1. And then we are going to put that in here. So 17 minus 9.1 is 7.9. So there you go. All right. We're going to do one more. One more. You guys are doing so great. One more. And I know you guys got this. How much of a 90% solution of acid, so that's the first one we're talking about, so X is going to be the 90% solution of acid, should be added to 60% acid solution to create a 5-liter solution that contains 70% acid. So this is percent, this is amount, this is mix A, this is mix B, and this is total. And the reason I left these ones blank is so that you guys can get used to making your own table, because if you were to take a test, like a standardized test tomorrow, they're not going to give you a table. You have to be able to do this yourself. So we have 0.9 for 90%, and that's going to be X. The other one is 0.6, and we don't know what that is yet. And I need 5 liters at 0.7, so this is 5 minus X. Now, just to let you guys know, 0.7 is a lot closer to 0.6 than it is 0.9, so we should have more of mix B than mix A. Like here, 0.6 is closer to 0.25 than it is 1, so we should have more of mix A than mix B, and we do. 0.3 is closer to 0.4 than it is 0.1, so we should have more of mix B than mix A, and we do. So think of it, if you get some weird numbers, make sure you always think logically about this as well. Okay, let's multiply. So 0.9 times X is 0.9X plus 0.6 times 5 minus X equals 0.7 times 5, which is 3.5. And I did that quickly in my head because 7 times 5 is 35, and I just moved the decimal over 1 because there is a decimal place here, so 3.5. So I get 0.9X plus 0.3 minus 0.6X. 0.6 times 5 is, sorry, this is not 0.3. 0.6 times 5 is a regular 3. 0.6 times negative X is negative 0.6X. And that's going to equal 3.5. Combine like terms, and I get 0.3X plus 3 equals 3.5. Subtract 3, and I get 0.3X equals 0.5. Divide by 0.3. And this is also going to be a repeating decimal. I'm totally okay if you keep it as a fraction, or if you want to do the repeating decimal, or round it to the nearest tenth. I'm going to round it to the nearest tenth, and I get 1.7. 1.7. That's how we round it to the nearest tenth. So X is equal to 1.7. And if this is 1.7, then this one right here is 3.3, because 5 minus 1.7 is 3.3. And again, you should have more 0.6, because 0.7 is closer to 0.6 than it is 0.9. And if you did 5/3, then here you should have, I'm trying to do it in my head, 10/3. 10/3. So if you did 5/3, here would be 10/3. All right. You guys did great today. I'm so proud of you. If you need help on this, let me know. You guys are more than capable of doing this, so don't even stress out. I'm trying to get back to the meat so I can end this. I know you guys can do this. Believe in yourself. You can do this. Have a wonderful day. And since I won't see you again before the weekend, have a wonderful weekend.